What up, everybody? This is Pac-Man 1987. I'm back with some more Kerbal. And as you can see here, I've got a slight problem. If you watched the last time I did a stream back on Sunday, you know that this didn't go too well. Trying to put flags everywhere, off to a really auspicious start. So why did this happen? Well, that's because I made this thing too tall. I was trying to slap together a really fast, simple landing vehicle, and I tried to go easy, and it ended up falling over because I landed on a hill, and it was too top heavy. So, learn from that in the future, and I prefer to make kind of squat, short, compacted landers, which I'll show you later. So the trick here is that I really need to get these guys back home because I can't, you know, say that I've succeeded in this mission until they're back to safety. So I'm gonna have to land something here. And my plan is I'm gonna land a robotic lander, like down here, where it's kind of flat comparatively, with a whole new, or even like, heck, right there would be perfect if I can target it that well. And it'll have a whole new landing capsule return part, so they'll leave this thing behind, hop in, because I just can't, I'm not gonna be able to pick this thing back up, flip it over correctly, hop in and take them home. But before I can do that, I need a satellite network. So we're gonna put one up, because sending a robot mission to the moon is all well and good, but they don't tend to do very well at all unless you have satellites to communicate with them, even on sandbox mode. I suppose I could turn that off, but I'm not going to. So we're going to go ahead and make one, which should be fun. I've already done a little math on this. I've got a handy dandy calculator on another screen I'm going to use. So I already know what I'm targeting. I'm going to try to put them in a geostationary orbit. So, you know, a synchronous orbit above the surface of Kerbin. And one of the best ways to go about doing that is to launch all three, because you want to do a triangle pattern for continuous permanent coverage. And one of the best ways to go about doing that is to do all three of them on the same vehicle. And you do a transfer orbit, and when every time you get to the apoapse, you deploy one of them. Then you go back around. You deploy one of them. You go back around. And the trick is that you make the periapse of your transfer orbit, I believe it's 2/3 of the final orbit, the apoapse that you're trying to get to. So that you end up going around, and you make this nice little triangle as you release them. So that's what we're going to do, or we're going to try to do. I don't know how well. I've never actually set one up myself before, so I don't know how well this is going to go. So we'll see. But excuse me. First step is we need some comm satellites. So I'm going to design some cool looking ones. Excuse me real quick. Goodness gracious. So I already have an idea of what I want that to look like and what it'll need. So let's see what we can do. Obviously we need a probe core. That much is certain. And then we are gonna want probably a reaction wheel, might as well. Let's see. We need some batteries. We should need about 2 batteries. There's a calculator on the web that'll calculate how much battery any given satellite needs in a given orbit to make it through the dark periods of the orbit and not shut down, which we don't want these to do. And they should only need about 2,000. I'll probably give them, well, probably give them 3. Why not? Just for the sake of over-engineering things. And then we need a satellite dish, obviously. And really, around Kerbin and the Kerbin system, you can just use these little guys. But that doesn't look very cool, so I'm going to do these. I don't feel like hoisting one of these monstrosities at the moment. They're not really heavy, but they're just big and not very easy to do that. So we're going to do these little guys. So we have kind of the beginnings of a little satellite here. We're going to want some other things too. Let's see, what else do we want? Let's see. We're gonna need some solar panels. That'd be probably a good idea. I've got all kinds of wacky solar panels. I have the near future electrical mod, so you know, I've got options, all kinds of wacky options. Now some of them are really heavy and gigantic, and I don't really think we're gonna use them. But let's see what some of these things look like. Wow. Okay. That's big. It's kind of cool looking. How much does that generate a second? Goodness gracious. These near future ones are supposed to be like, well, near future technology that's superior to normal stuff. That generates a lot of electricity. It's really super duper overkill for what we're doing here. But we'll put that on the short list of contenders because they look kind of cool. What do these look like? They look like they're big, and I don't think that's going to work. I want something that folds up nice. Here we go. What? Let's see. Why not? Okay, yeah, sure. Yeah. That's what we need right there. Uh-huh. No. These are interesting. No. Those are huge. That one's a little better. Not very stylish. Always the good old-fashioned traditional ones. You can also do expanding curved arrays. Ooh. You need 4 of them though, which I don't think that vehicle's going to accommodate. These. I bet you these look cool once they're out, but I don't think I'm gonna. Yeah, that's kind of neat, but no. These are pretty good. They're just like concentrating ones. They're kind of bulky though. That's a little better. Like those you could fold up along the side. Kind of looks like a communication satellite to me. Anything else worth trying out? I feel like there's some cool ones up here. They're like really big. Again, functionally any solar panel will do for this, so it doesn't really matter. This is really just for style points. These are kind of weird. They don't look normal. They look cool when they're extended. I don't really like that though for this. Big. I think one of these little guys. Like what is 1x3? I mean, that looks pretty good. That looks like a communication satellite would look. Feels solid. Those do not retract once they're deployed, so we need to remember that. Let's see. We got solar panels. We got batteries for days. More than enough batteries. We'll ever need. But why not? We got that. We got a probe core. Relay antenna. It's looking good. This guy, let me see this one more time too. I kind of was digging that. Let me see. No. We'll do something cool with that later. It's looking pretty solid. Decent little vehicle. That really is most of what these things need, but we do need to give it its own fuel. And I did a little math. And in order to get it into a circular orbit, it should only need, according to this, 250 meters per second of delta V of its own. That being said, I think we can do better than that. Let's put a little engine on the back of it. Spark is always good. I mean, it's got, for what we're doing, I mean, look at that. That's ridiculous. It doesn't even need that. That's crazy. Okay, let's not do that one. For what we're doing with it, it's got really good thrust to weight. 914 meters per second of delta V with just this little thing. This thing does not weigh much. Goodness gracious. So yeah, there we go. That's that thing's gonna be just a-okay. I can't believe that. How much fuel is in this thing again? 27 units. No, it only weighs 1.18. Yeah, that's why it's so efficient. I wonder if I could even do like, well, it's possible that we'll be doing burns on the dark side of the planet. So an ion engine, while cool, may not be the best choice. Could be fun though. Let's see. Might as well play around, be inventive. That's a lot of xenon gas. $5,250 units of it. Jeez. Let's just see. What would that have with one of these little guys? Oh my. Yeah, that has delta V. Wow. Now, you notice though that the thrust to weight ratio is atrocious on this thing with the ion engine, so we're not really going to do that. Because, in fact, I may even want to do a bigger engine than this thing and just do like a bigger tank and kind of underfuel it a bit. Because I really want these burns to be as aggressive as possible to more accurately locate these things in orbit. I may even want to give it like a pair of some monoprop and a pair of RCS thrusters. What's this one? That's liquid. That's monoprop. Those are a bit much. See real quick. What would they do? That's actually not terrible, except for the problem of actually mounting it to anything with these goofy things on it, which is an issue. I wouldn't be able to stick it on anything. I don't really like, I like the thrust to weight ratio it has. I don't like the everything else about it. Oh well. Let's go ahead and we do this. Go. Nope. Will this engine still be able to draw fuel? Apparently so. Didn't really do what I wanted to do then, though. Let's see. I know what to do with that. Go with this. 1.72 thrust to weight ratio, 914 meters per second of delta V. I like it. Let's give it some monoprop. It doesn't need 2 full tanks though. What's the massive on this thing anyway? Pretty high up. That's actually not bad having it there. Closer to the reaction wheels and all that jazz. Let's put it in here though. I have to do some clipping. I think we need to hide these inside of it. That could do. Still allow me to actually hit these? Of course not. Luckily I have this thing. I mean, this thing, it really doesn't need that much monoprop. So let's slap some monoprop engines on here. That's fine. So I have a handy dandy tool for this as well. It's the RCS build aid. Now I really only want these for translation in one vector. And I probably want, so this mod is really cool. It gives you your center of mass, but it also gives you your dry center of mass, and it shows you how much of a torquing force these RCS engines firing in any given mode are going to generate. So let's see, like, say we use our 250 delta V that this thing says we're going to use. Was it originally? Or something. We have about that much left. So now we can see, okay, what would this be? And we could set it up for that to do the RCS burn there. I wonder though if I really need it. Because I can just thrust limit this thing down for days to do micro adjustments. I think I'll just do that. No need for more parts. Go back a bit. Turn off the RCS thing. Don't need it. So yeah, I mean, that's a pretty good vehicle right there. That's a satellite. So we've got that. We're gonna save it. In fact, we're gonna call that Kerbin comsat. We're gonna save it. Now we need 3 of these bad boys, so we're gonna do some things. We're gonna set this as the new root part, and we're gonna go over here. Where is? I'm gonna go to sub-assemblies. Don't really need an icon. We're gonna drop this in there as a sub-assembly. And let's back out of here. I want to build a new thing. Now we need something to transfer these into the orbit we need. Now it needs to be able to do a burn of about 312 meters per second, which means practically anything will let us do this. But what we want to start with is we want another probe core. Let's see. And since it'll have these on it for most of what it's doing, we can quite easily not even worry about having an antenna or anything on it. Cool. What else do we have? we'll give this reaction wheels as well. We'll probably turn them on and off. We don't have a bunch of reaction wheels fighting each other. We'll give it some batteries, although it will need some batteries for itself, but not much. We're even going to give it its own solar panels eventually, but I'm not ready to do that just yet. So now we need to give it like a fuel tank. It's its main section. Let's try this. I have a feeling this might be sufficient, but I don't know. And then this is part of a mod that I have. We can do triple platforms here, and then I'll throw couplers on them. I'm going to do Clampetrons. Could do Clampetron Juniors since they're like fairly small, but I think I'll just do normal ones, easier, because I don't want them to have a lot of ejection force when I release them, so I'm not going to do a normal decoupler. And then I'm going to grab that subassembly and let's see what sticking 3 of these on here does. So there's a few things we want to do. We want to disable crossfeed on all 3 of these. We've got auto strut, which I need to remember to do that. Oh, look at that. Wait, where was that? That's kind of cool. I don't know what exactly it's doing, but it looks cool. Let's see what rigid attachment does. I don't even know what that does. So we've got crossfeed disabled. So the true delta V, I don't even know how this thing has delta V. Okay. Let's give it an engine. We'll give it one of these bad boys. Okay, so this thing has an enormous amount of delta V. Even with, you know, crossfeed is turned off. We're gonna auto strut these to the root part. We're gonna auto strut these to the heaviest part. And that should keep this all fairly rigid. What would happen if we So I don't even think this thing needs to be this big. It really doesn't. So that's kind of cool, actually. And we'll probably rotate these. There we go. So they're packed properly. Look at that. Well, they need to be a little higher up. But that is looking pretty solid, if I do so. So we've got 3 satellites. Got this little guy. It doesn't really need to be pretty up there. That's more than sufficient for what it does. We don't want to use their solar panels by any stretch of the imagination. I really don't think this thing needs this much fuel. I mean, let me try a shorter fuel tank, maybe. Actually, for the sake of size, let's just cut how much fuel is in here. What does that give me? 1,500. I mean, let's just give it like half its normal fuel capacity. And be done with it. This is really overdoing it, but 6 tons isn't that bad to orbit. we'll send that up. So that's a transfer vehicle. I mean, that thing's ready to freaking roll. Aha! Okay, so it actually only has 700 something meters per second. I really want to make sure that crossfeed is turned off. You know what? We're gonna shut these down. That's a good way to start it. I have to remember now to turn those back on before I deploy them. In fact, I can actually set up action groups to do that, which will be cool. That'll be pretty good. But I think this will work. I'm pretty sure. Even when we get it into orbit. So, this thing should be more than sufficient to do what I want it to do. The one thing I don't like is this thrust to weight ratio is pretty low. 0.89 is not that great. Should be sufficient to get it where it needs to go. It'll just be kind of a slow burn. But I don't think I want to give it anything. I mean, I could stick a swivel on it, I suppose. That's not bad, actually. That's still a lot of delta V, and it should be more than enough to do what I want to do with it. Do that. Why not? I have to go with that for a specific reason. That's looking pretty solid so far. We'll save that real quick. So now we need to build something to send this into orbit. Oh, and it needs a few other little bits here real quick. Gonna want solar panels on here too. I think just the traditional 1x6 ought to be sufficient. Yeah, I like that. That looks fine. Except I'm gonna flip them. That's better. It ought to work. Okay. So, that's looking pretty good. So now I need to build something to launch this. So it weighs about 7 tons. It's not much at all. We're going to want to stick this in a fairing so that it doesn't... obviously this is not the most aerodynamic design in the universe. So, see what we can do with that. That be... give it a coupler first. With this one, I don't have any problems with having a stack coupler. I want to make that a little bigger. This is going to be an awkward launch vehicle. Come on. Elongate that up here for aerodynamic purposes. Give it a clamshell deploy because it looks cooler. Alright, so now we need to put it in a low Kerbin orbit. I'm shooting for... let me check something real quick. So it needs 12 to get out there. That's not very helpful, is it? One second. My calculator has decided to rebel against me. Pop up there, buddy? There you are. Okay, this thing still has well in excess of how much it needs. So, we're good to go in that department. So now, we need a rocket capable of lifting it. We're going to want it to be kind of long, like I might want to actually make it a little big for what it is, because I doubt this thing's really going to need that much fuel to get into orbit, but we'll see. So... we could always overfuel it too, and deorbit the launch vehicles. We could be environmentally conscientious. Not pollute the space over Kerbin. Luckily, Kerbals don't really care about Kessler syndrome. It's not such a big deal for them. Let's see. Let's get a feel for how much that's going to give us. Stick a mainsail on there. That's a lot. Good grief. We might be able to single stage to orbit this thing, really, if we wanted to. That might not be a horrible plan, actually, to make it just a little bit taller so it can get to orbit in one stage, because it'll kind of balance a little better with this monstrosity on the top of it, because it's going to be really weird to fly. Need those bad boys there. Give it... how much... what was the thrust weight on that? 0.9. That's pretty solid. 2.2 is still pretty solid. So on paper that should make it. In practice, probably won't. Maybe. Stack one more thing on top of it. Wait, isn't that like an orange tank worth? That is. That's like 2 orange tanks. No, they're actually slightly longer. That, I would hope, is sufficient. Maybe. Slap some aerodynamics on there and see how it looks. I mean, that seems like it should go to orbit. Not gonna 100% guarantee that it really will. But we could try it. Could also stage it. Probably be easier to just do that. Make this easier to control, actually. Let's see, see what happens if we do this instead. We over-engineer it, not a bad thing. That, yeah, we'll go with that. That's a fair bit better. It's definitely more likely to make it to orbit. Good thrust sway ratios. More than enough delta V to get us into an 80 by 80. I like to do 80 by 80. Yeah, it looks good. Let's slap some structural doodads on there. Call it a day. Check the staging real quick. Go ahead and add an extra stage there for that so we don't get any accidents. I think we're in business. Let's try to launch it. Ooh, night launch. Pretty good. I usually like to get up to about 135 meters per second-ish, something like that. Probably less with this thing, but that's okay. We're gonna pitch over 5 degrees. And once it catches up to us, lock it to prograde, basically ride it into orbit. We can actually slow that down quite a bit. Give it a sharper angle of attack. Already past their max Q. Really good right now. Go ahead and pitch over quite a bit. Good. Alright, so that's an 80 kilometer ABOAPS. Not the greatest anything else, but we'll see. Why are you 80 by 90? Oh my gosh. Probably need to start the burn now, actually. I'll take it. Tweak it a bit. We've got time. I'll take that. This will be a little off because I started it kind of late, but that's okay. Not too worried about it. Go ahead and dump the fairings. Goodbye, fairings. Looking pretty good. Close enough. I can deal with that. So we're in orbit. I'm gonna go ahead and detach this bit. Switch back to this guy. In retrograde. I'm gonna let it drift apart a bit. We're gonna try to deorbit this thing just so it's not cluttering up my orbits. Reality would not do that. That would have destroyed that vehicle, but it's Kerbal, so I don't really care. This thing's probably already suborbital. Looks good. Okay. Oop. Go back to the map view real quick. Okay. No spent upper stages for us. Let's go ahead and end all our solar panels. I should have set up an action group for that, but whatever. Not too worried about it. Turn SAS off. Don't need it right now. Alright, so we got a transfer vehicle. So our target right now, what I want to do with it is I want to set my apoaps right now to 1,200,000 1,222,703. There's a very good reason for that when setting up a satellite deployment in geostationary orbit. So I need to plot that. We'll go ahead and plot it for the periaps so we're on the light side. And I am going to use precise node to get that as precise as possible. So let's see what we can do with that. Alright, so that's way off. And that's getting closer. And then when we get to that, we're going to raise our apoaps again to our final geostationary orbit to begin deployment. And we want to go the other way. That's 222, really close. 222. Seven. We want to go a little higher. 703. That's going to be about as close as we can get with this thing. So that'll be interesting. We'll have to kind of play with it a bit. That's like getting down into very small decimal points. But we'll see what we can do. We'll be able to fix it a little bit. So that's going to be how long of a burn? .9 meters per second. Maybe this has enough delta V. We'll see. So it looks like our maximum acceleration is 8.67. Got a calculator over here. Grab. So about a 54-second long burn. So we want to start it at 27-ish seconds, probably thereabouts. That shouldn't be too hard. We'll do that. Got more than enough battery to do whatever we need. And that is in 18 minutes, so let's do a quick save. And let's warp to our node. There we go. Now, if we don't get this orbit 100% perfect, that's okay. It just means they'll drift. Wow, good job. This is why we quick save. Warp to maneuver node. Positive 3 seconds past it. Yeah, okay. Sure. Let's warp to here. Alright, we're about a minute away from it. That's pretty good. So let's get set up and ready to roll. Like I said, about 27 seconds, so I'm going to go to about 40 seconds and then get ready to do this. There we go. And that burn's going to be weird, but whatever. We'll try it. Good. This thing controls really well. I'm looking at my apoapse height. 1.22. That's really what I'm targeting right now is 1.222. We can make an adjustment mid-course if needed. Not bad. What is it now? 1.22, 2.6. That's pretty darn close. We'll go ahead and make a correction burn, or see if we even can. Maybe like right about here. That's just about right. That's a whopping 0.03. I'm not even sure this vehicle can do that. Let's find out. The absolute minimum thrust this can apply. 0.05. I'll try. I don't know if that's gonna work. Where are you, maneuver node? It doesn't even know where to point me. Goodness gracious. Heck with it. Let's just wing that. Let's do a prograde. And I'm gonna give it like a poof. Oh, now that's gonna need... I have to fix that. That, you know what? Let's try this. I'm dealing with my engine is too big. Let's try radial. Okay. Because radial burns are less efficient, which means we might have to burn slightly more, which means we might get the result we want. Yeah, ooh, yeah, that might work. 683. 6713. That is almost perfect right there. Okay, so that's a 0.4 meter per second burn. So again, that'd be like a less than 1 second burn. We'll see. Might work. Closer I get this to perfect, the better, but I ain't gonna fight it that much. RCS would have probably been a good idea. In retrospect. Ahaha! Look at that. Close enough. According to this, it's not quite right. According to this, it is. I'll take that. So, now we need to get ready to do the actual orbit transfer. Oh, next APO apps. Should be good. It looks good. Engineer says it's good. Kerbal says it isn't, but that's okay. I'll go off engineer. It's more accurate. So now we need to plot a new burn when we get to the APO apps that we currently have. I want to target pretty far out there. We want to go up a bit. That looks pretty good. Should be pretty close. On the orange APO apps. Right click's not doing anything. I can warp to the next maneuver. Do a quick save real quick. What does that one do actually? I don't even know what that does. This is a... This is not a good estimate of my burn time. At about 57 seconds. 28, 29 seconds from the maneuver node. I feel like that's not correct. There we go. Oh, that's what that does. Okay, I see what that does. Cool. So you can move it around in orbit. That's really neat. That little button there. Never actually touched that before or done anything with it. So, let's see then what we can do. 28 seconds from the node. Oh, okay. Gotcha. Cool. Well, let's get this burn completed. Real time. Oh, you're fine. Thank you for the tip. I appreciate it. Alright, so we're going to settle in for a little bit here. This won't be quite perfect, but what can you do? So, here. Oh, okay. See what we can do with this. Actually, I can close that real quick. 2.86, 3.5. That's pretty close. We can do a tweak here. I think we're just gonna go with what we've got. I don't think there's any point fiddling with it anymore. This is pretty close. You know, this isn't gonna be perfect. Like, they will drift, but they'll do their job for the most part. I can always tweak them later. So, now our objective is to get to this node. Now, a couple different ways to do this. Let's do a quick save. I feel like this isn't quite correct, but I'm just gonna roll with it at this point. Okay, I see. So, what I want to do is nice view, and then I'm going to get ready to deploy one of these. I'm going to safe this engine. Okay. That looks good. Hmm. Eight 6-1, 8-6-5. I don't like that. Really wants to be troublesome, doesn't it? This is going to be a fidgety orbit. Ah! One sec. I just accidentally applied thrust. Good grief. Alright. We're gonna get it as close as we can. And I'm not gonna fight it anymore after that. Ooh, that goes by quick. I can work with that. Pretty good. We'll do that. There'll be a lot of drift, but it's okay. So that's 171 meters per second. That's a 10-second burn. Literally a 10-second burn. I'm gonna actually reduce that quite a bit. Make that like half. Now we want to start at 10 seconds before the burn. Okay, we're about to do the burn. Oop. I'm gonna do a slight fix. I'll take that. Okay. Looking solid. So, that's the first one deployed. Now, we need to switch back to our other vehicle. Tell you what we're gonna do. Now we're gonna go around. That should work. Coming up on the next one. All right, let's get ready. That'll work. That looks good. And the next one will end up over here somewhere. So, to the Space Center. Thank you. It's off a little bit, but what can you do? Purple's not an exact art. Oh, we need to rename that one. Which one was that? That one. Go back to it real quick. Gotta rename it. There we go. Okay. There we go. 63864, that's not too bad. I'll take that. Oh, is that a thing you can do too? I don't think I've ever done that before. Let me try real quick. I'm gonna go ahead and do this burn for now. It's coming up. You're right, we can do that. I think it's going to be just about perfect, though, the way we've got it set up. Yeah, look at that. Look at that. Nice. That looks really good. It's off by a hair. I mean, it's off by like a meter in altitude. Either or, which, I mean, to be fair, I can always tweak one of the config files later on, or one of the save files later on to fix that, but it's pretty darn close. Alright, we're coming up. Getting ready. Maybe just a hair late starting that, but that's okay. Shouldn't really hurt anything. And we're just gonna fine tune this out. Ooh, that one's probably the closest to the actual goal we've had yet. So let's go ahead, rename. Safe it. Turn off SAS. And I think looks really good. Yeah. How about that? I like it. Let's go back to the Space Center and take a good peek at it. Nice triangle. That looks pretty good. Now I need to put one of these around the moon. Let me just check on these two real quick. I don't remember if I turned off SAS. I don't want to drain its batteries. I don't think it does in the background. There we go. And then the last little bit that I want to do So that there's no chance of these ever coming close to it. We're going to... I don't think I have enough fuel to deorbit this thing. I'm going to check that. How much do we have? 399 meters per second of delta V. Let's see what that can get us. Well, look at that. That'll deorbit it. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and deorbit this. Probably help if I activated this. So, this will go ahead and deorbit. We don't need it anymore. Mission successful. We have a comsat network. So now we need to put one on the moon, because I still need to save these poor jerks. Now we need to set up some more to save them, because I'm going to send a robotic lander with a new capsule for these guys. That's weird. That's a bug. That wasn't normal. That wasn't normal at all. I don't know. I have no idea. Let's try that one more time. I think you might be right about that Illuminati thing. We'll go ahead and load. Goodness gracious. Okay. Let's oh, some eclipse. I'm gonna go ahead and exit to the main menu and come back in here. Let's see. Yeah, that just wasn't going well. There we go. That looks a little more normal, doesn't it? Oh, that might have done it too. You're right. That might have done the trick. I don't know what happened with it, but let's just we're gonna check on these poor guys, make sure they're okay. Okay, they're hanging in there. They're fine. It's totally fine there. So we need to get a comsat thing around the moon now, so that I can land a robotic lander. So let's go ahead and design that real quick. This is basically going to be a mini version of what I just did. Let me see real quick. I gotta tweak some things. Go to the moon. I have a calculator on my other screen I'm using. And we're going to target... Oh, MechJeb. You know, I used to use it a lot, and then I stopped using it. And I pretty much just fly everything manually now. It is really good for getting nice circular orbits. I will give it that. Like, it probably would have made what I just did much more precise. Maybe. I just haven't bothered to install it yet this time. Maybe I will. Here sometime mess around with it again. It's been a while since I used it. Let's see. Alright, that looks pretty good. That's true. It might be able to flip it. I tried flipping it, and it just did not. It's a little too. The nose is too heavy, and so it just kept. Oh, does it actually have like a magical flip it button? Huh. Interesting. That could be funny. I think it would be more fun to actually send something wacky to save him, though. I think I'm gonna have a daring rescue mission. This should be pretty fun. I thought about sending like a goofy crane thing to go roll over top of it and pick it up, but I think it'd be a little more trouble than it's worth. So I think I'm just gonna send a pod, which I tried to do the other night, and I forgot that I needed the comsats. So the pod was on the back side of the moon, and it just stopped responding. So that's why we're putting comsats up. Let's see what we can do about that. We need little stuff. What does that thing have? What's the littlest probe core I've got? Yeah, that one's pretty small. Oh! Talking about Apollo styles. Check this out. I'll show you something really cool I did about a year ago. This is a Kerbal. I call it the Kerbal. This is a engineering and maneuver accurate replica of the Saturn V rocket and lander. Actually, about a year ago I got really into this, like really into it, and I decided I was going to do like a complete reproduction of it. So I started teaching myself some of the orbital mechanics involved so I could calculate it. Yeah, I got the Starman on there. You got to have him. But yeah, this thing, it doesn't look exactly like it, but every stage contributes the same amount to the trip to orbit. Everything uses RCS. It all has the same tolerances as far as fuel and thrust, so the thrusts are really low because the real thing had fairly low thrust ratios. And it also, I do all the same maneuvers. I haven't done it in a while, so I'm probably not going to try that right now. I could try it, but it won't save those guys right now. I need to send them a robot lander, basically, with a pod they can hop into. But if you want to check this out, I actually have a video on Twitch and YouTube of it. It should be in my videos list. I think in Twitch it's in my highlights. On YouTube it's just in my previous videos. If you're interested in seeing this thing fly and everything I did with it, I got pretty in depth with it. Take a look at that. It's about 2 hours and 50 minutes long, so it was a fairly long mission. But once I save those guys, I might send one of these up again. But it takes a little practice to fly it because it's pretty wild. But in the meantime, thank you. That was about, I want to say, maybe 2 months of work. Doing all the math and everything. It took a while. What do we got? I want to make like a little mini comsat. Kind of like what I just did. Do the same thing, just smaller. What does this guy have? Okay. What do you have? Oh, that one doesn't do maneuver. Okay, does this one do maneuver? Doesn't. Okay, well, you know what? I'm gonna do one of these. Let's make a little one. So, for the moon, let's see. Okay, yeah, that thing ain't gonna need much battery at all. So let's make it look kind of neat. we do with that? I feel like we can do some fun stuff. And no. What do I got? Got all kinds of wacky things. No. I think we'll do this little guy. Of those. This one should literally need like 1 battery. We'll give it 2. Yeah, that's more than enough for that. Oh. Pretty good. And I'll basically do the same thing, it's just going to be smaller. There it is. What do I want to give that? I think I want to give this one something different. No. Thinking. See how it looks with this. That might be fun, actually. I wonder how good the thrust would be on it here. It's it'd probably be pretty solid. Yeah, that'll look cool. Yeah, let's give that a try. Let's see what it. This one's got a pretty solid thrust weight. The tricky bit with the Xeon rockets. Let's see how they do. Because when I'm doing these like precise orbits where I want to have it kind of in this triangle orbit, you want that burn to be as quick as possible. So having a high thrust to weight ratio isn't a bad thing in that situation. Let's see how a Xeon rocket does. The other tricky bit is you need to make sure you're actually in the sun to do the burn. So I would have to do that properly. Let's see. Wow, that is a lot of delta V, goodness gracious. The only problem with it is that thrust to weight ratio is just kind of meh. That's not bad. How much power does that goofy thing use? 8.74 a second. Interesting. So let's see. It could be fun. I can try that. I don't know how well it's gonna work. One of these fancy schmancy solar panels ought to do the trick, though. Try that instead. Like that might work. Is there anything better? That was a bit, well, a bit too big. I also don't want them to be heavy. This way. 0.07. That's definitely the thing to use. That's pretty solid. I can try that. I might do the trick. I can give it less fuel because it most certainly doesn't need that much. My good grief. I mean, there we go. I'll try it. Looks cool. So let's make at the root part. Ooh, let's see. Actually, I want to call it Moonicom, don't I? Moonicom. There we go. Okay, so. Oh, okay. So you speak pretty good English. Your English is pretty good. That's a lot of Delta V, goodness gracious. That's true. It is. Let's see. I think I have little ones, like little. Those fit? Those probably won't fit. Yeah, we need the big ones. Actually, what am I doing? Where did I put it? It's gonna need slight redesign to go to the moon. It should be pretty solid. Looks good. Can even make that smaller. I need to make that bigger, actually. Let's see what we can do with that. We want it to be able to get to the moon and circularize. It's probably gonna need a transfer stage, so this will need to be bigger. Let's try this. I don't know if that'll have enough. Might have to do the math on that one. Over-engineer the ever-living goodness out of it. Oh, like the space shuttle in real life? Yeah, man, that is an awesome vehicle. I don't know, the things the space shuttle was able to do. It wasn't a perfect vehicle. The original plans were for something way crazier. But what it did do, it did really, really well. And it really was kind of like it was the right vehicle at the right place at the right time in history. You know, because it was basically the only thing that could put the International Space Station in orbit. It would have been really hard to build the International Space Station without the space shuttle. So, you know, for all of it did have flaws, but for all of its flaws, it really was the right thing for the job. And it was just freaking awesome. Let's put these, keep these up near the top. That looks pretty good. Good grief, okay. How much? Excuse me. Ooh, which one? Ah, it blocks it. Okay. Let me see. You know what's the name of it? I might have heard of it. It's not like there's a couple of good shuttle mods. I'll look that up. I don't think I've ever seen that one. I tried building a space shuttle for a while. It is not easy at all. Not with stock parts anyway. Mod parts would be the way to go, because stock parts are just, it's brutal trying to build a stock space shuttle. Okay, so this thing should be, I mean, this is over-engineered and then some. It should be capable of getting this into orbit and sending it to the moon, I'm hoping. Try it. Ooh, yeah, raster prop monitor. I need to reinstall that. I don't have that yet on this current install. You can do some cool stuff with raster prop, though. I do like that quite a bit. Yeah, I like being able to, flying from the cockpit, it's really hard, but you can do some pretty cool stuff in raster prop. I have done a couple landings on the moon in the cockpit, which is really fun. Haven't done it in a while. Let's put that on the root part. That there. Or actually, no. There we go. Okay. These are looking pretty good. I think this thing can go where I want it to go. Oh, okay. Wait a minute. Alright, let's give this thing a shot. I think I'll do probably a prograde trajectory too around the moon. For the sake of easiness. Give this a shot. Oh, sorry, is it too loud? Let me turn that down a little bit. Is that any better? Yeah, I think it's gonna work. Yeah, it looks pretty solid. I'll take that. A 52-second long burn coming up. Starting it at 26-ish, 27-ish seconds. As soon as we clear the atmosphere, I'll deploy the fairing. There we go. A little derpy, but I'll take that. Alright, this is looking good. Good enough. I can work with that. Okay. So, go to the moon. Let's see then. That's pretty good. Yeah, no, not very good. An odd trajectory. Looks pretty solid. I can work with that. You know what? I actually do want to... I'm gonna try something. Nah, that won't work, will it? Yeah, I'll just have to go with what I had. Trying to see if I could get an encounter at the descending node. Oh, that's retrograde. Ooh, what I might do, let me see. Yeah. That looks pretty good. I like to use this trick to line up inclinations. That looks pretty good. Yeah, we'll work with that. I'm gonna double check that. I don't believe that calculation. Okay. I want to do the burn starting at about 1 minute and 10 seconds. Or 1 minute and a second, according to my math. I don't know what Kerbal is on to with this, but that's what I'm getting. That'd probably help if I fired up the engine. That could help. Looking good though. Going well. One of my mods, I think it is, I'd have to check which one it actually is. One moment. Find that out for you. Okay. One of my mods, it is it this one? Ah. I think it's this one. I have a, well, distant object enhancement does like a skybox dimming thing. But so does Planet Shine, I think, does too. There's a couple different mods I have that do it. Like you can see stars and planets and stuff until I'm looking at the star, and then you can't see anything. I think it's one of those. I don't remember exactly which one. It also might be part of Scatterer that gets it to be. I think it could even be a combination of all three that gets it to look that nice. And then once you get out of the glare of the sun, like if we were behind the planet completely with no star, you'd be able to see everything really nice and bright. So it's pretty cool. But I think it's distant object enhancement that's doing most of the work. Let's look how we did. Yeah, it looks really good, and it looks nice, you know, when you're on the dark side of the planet, because you do get the stars. But only then. It looks like we need to do a correction burn. I'll add a maneuver like right about here. Let's see what we can do with that. That would not be the right direction. That would good. That would be pretty good right there. So that's a 1.8 meter per second correction burn. 22 minutes. What's the absolute minimal thrust we can get? That would do. That would be a 10-second burn, I believe, for that. We'll give that a shot. Like, here we are. We can see the star. We start moving so that we go behind everything. Now we can actually see the background. A little bit better. Just look at that. That looks great. Let's do this little correction burn real quick on the way to the moon. Okay. I said should be about 10 seconds. See if that does it. See how that did. That's good. Looking pretty solid. So, let's go to the sphere of influence change. See how we're doing. Okay. Okay, that looks really good. So I need to target a maneuver, capture, We need to put it pretty low. See. That should be about right. I think that'll even, well, the thing I don't like there, I think I'm just going to do a normal circularization, and then we'll adjust. I want to do the burns, put these in orbit on the light side. That is not what we would have over here. So let's see. See what we can do with that. We might have to do like a capture and come around kind of thing. We could do like an orbital phasing thing. Yeah, let's do this instead. We're going to have to do a couple of orbital adjustments. We also want this in a more or less equatorial orbit. Seems pretty solid. We'll do another burn here. Yeah, that should work. Okay, good. We'll have a signal. Alright, so we want to start this burn about 15 to 16-ish seconds before the node. So let's see what we can do with that. Okay, getting ready. that looks pretty solid. Okay. So now we need to do some adjusting. Let's see. Need might be able to get to the planet about there. It's questionable. I'm gonna try this. This might just have to hang out in this orbit. I'm not too concerned about these ones being equatorial. There we go. There we go. Okay, so we're gonna do that burn, and then we'll go around. Tricky bit's gonna be yes. Okay. I'm actually gonna do this now. That's actually exactly the number I want. Interesting. We should still be inside of the planet. So that's a 72 meter per second burn, 7 seconds long. Let's get a little more fine control with that. There we go. That's exactly a 10-second burn. Started at about 6 seconds before, 6 or 7 seconds. And 11 minutes. Alright, here we go. Actually, scrub that. I don't want to do that burn. I just realized what I want to do. I'm not planning this appropriately. I actually want to swap my apoapse, periapse is what I want to do. So let's see. Dead. Yeah. There we go. That's a 26 meter per second burn. That's a little better. Okay, get ready. Hello. Setting up a comsat network. Alright, that looks really solid. Yeah, we want that. Don't want that. No, we do want that. Trying to set up a comsat network, a little trio of satellites. That looks pretty good. Trying to be as precise as possible about it. Alright, so that's a 68 meter per second burn. Make it about a 10-second long burn. Quick save. Go to about here. That should be pretty good. Just setting up the transfer orbit I'm going to use to deploy these in a triangle. Okay, so it'll only be about 10 seconds long. looks pretty good. That should do the trick. Hopefully I don't hit any mountains. I don't think I will. I think they're a little lower than that still. So now we go around once, and then we're going to do a deploy once we get back to here. See how that goes. Let's go ahead and swing around, just make sure we're okay as far as not hitting the moon. Looks good. Alright, so now I'm gonna go to about here, I think, and get ready to deploy. Well, I have a signal, obviously. Yeah, that's how signals work, right? That's where they go. I'll do a quick save. I don't know how long the burn I'm gonna have to do is gonna be. I suspect the answer is fairly long. We got about 15 minutes to my apoapse. Let's point this bad boy retro or prograde. I'm gonna go ahead and safe the transfer stage for the moment. And let's get one of these ready to go. Play this one. See how badly that goofed up. It's pretty much acceptable. Alright, so we have 966 meters per second at delta V to work with. I think we can manage. And our goal is to circularize at the apoapse. That's about right. I think that's about as close to right as it's gonna get too. 200. I'll take that. So we have a maximum acceleration of 2.21 meters per second. Gotta accelerate 68.4. A 30-second long burn. I'm gonna start it at about probably 16, 17 seconds just to accommodate fine tuning. And we're about 13 minutes out, so this should be pretty good. I think, let me rotate these flush. There we go. Shouldn't have any problems with solar panels. Should have enough electricity. We'll see. Okay, getting ready. See how we do. Here we go. One ion engine. More than enough electricity. It's looking good. I'll take that. That looks good. Alright, we got the first one in orbit. Excellent, excellent. Let's go ahead and save this engine. I think we're good to go there. So, can we... No, we cannot switch back to the other one just yet. They're so close to each other. Let's time warp a bit. Spread them apart. Okay. Gonna keep doing the same thing. Okay, we got 4 minutes. Thank you. This should go smoothly from here on out. Should being the opportune term. Don't bump that. Don't bump that. Okay, good. Plot the burn. Don't like that. $198, 199. $200. No. That's not quite what I want. Well, we got a few more minutes. Oh. Come on. That's going to be about as close as we're going to get that one. But that's fine. They're only off slightly, so they shouldn't drift too much. Same thing, 68.3. And we'll start it at 16 seconds to the node. There we go. That looks good. Oh, and you know what I forgot to do on the last one is I forgot to name it. Let's actually call it Municom 1. Okay. Press some time here. And we've only got one more. Okay. Okay. That's about as close as I'm going to get that one, which is fine. Okay. Looking good. Good. All right. Pretty close. I declare this comnet officially deployed around the moon. Not bad. Let's make sure Space Center that they can actually talk to each other. I need to put them just a tad bit higher, but nope, they're good to go. One comnet, just barely. That's cool. Very neat. Okay. Now I want to get rid of this thing because I don't want it possibly impacting my other vehicles anytime soon. I'm going to turn it back on. And we're either going to... If we added a maneuver here... It would deorbit itself. That looks pretty good then. We'll do that. We're just gonna warp to the next node. I'm not too worried about it otherwise. But goofs it up, it goofs it up. It's not a big deal. Looks good enough to me. Yep, that is a deorbit. I would say this vehicle is done. Its mission is over. Go ahead and save it. And it'll eventually re-enter Kerbin. Cool. So I was able to deploy 2 comnets tonight. Not bad. If you say so myself. Go over to the tracking station and take a look. So I've got one around Kerbin. And I've got one around the moon now. Guess I'll eventually do one around Minmus. Why not? I probably don't need one around Minmus though. Eventually I'll put one like way out at the edge of the system with big ones. And that'll be cool. For deep space. But for now, this should be sufficient. So, all of this is of course in the service of attempting to save these guys right here. Let's check on them, see how they're doing. It's nighttime. For some reason they're just spinning wildly. Why not? Makes sense. So, next time what I'm going to do is build a robotic lander with a fresh pod that they can all hop out of this and hop into. I don't think I have any way to show it, but like right down this hill here, there's a nice flat spot I intend to try to land on. So it'll be a pretty sweet lander. It's going to be very over-engineered, so that should be fun. But yeah, so I think that'll be more than enough for tonight. It's pretty decently long stream actually. Got a lot done. So if you're still watching, I hope you enjoyed. Like I said, you know, next time I stream Kerbal, it'll probably might be Thursday. I'm gonna be doing some streaming Thursday. I don't know what I'm gonna be doing yet. Might do a different game that night. We'll see. So if I don't do Kerbal Thursday, I'll probably do it over the weekend, either Saturday or Sunday. And then well, I'll probably be streaming on Monday next week too, because it's President's Day and I have the day off. So I'll probably do a fair bit of streaming, a couple of different games that day if I can help it. Unless it's really nice outside. I haven't checked that yet. If it's nice outside, I'll be on my motorcycle, so won't be playing games. But we'll see how that goes. So take a look. You know, follow me if you want to. If you're interested in some other Kerbal stuff, I've got a couple of videos saved now from Kerbal. There's one, my oldest one, on YouTube, and it's on Twitch as well, is of an Apollo recreation I did. I had somebody ask some questions about that earlier. So I figured I'd mention it again, and that was pretty cool. I kind of got really technical with that one, so if you're interested, take a look at that. And then watch for me Thursday, and if I'm not doing Kerbal then, I'll be doing it on the weekend. So I hope you all enjoyed, and have a good one.